Steve, thanks for joining us out here at one of our available rental properties. Let's take a look inside.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Steve, welcome to Landlord Confidential. Could you tell the audience who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a real estate photographer. I've been doing this job for about 8 years now professionally. I worked for a company called Rent previously, and that's where I cut my teeth. I shot over 6,000 houses now in my career, and I do a little bit of video as well. And of course, I fly a drone.
And now you're out on your own?
Yeah, I'm out of business now. I work all across the valley from Tampa to Arizona City. I've actually taken pictures from Tucson to Williams. And then Buckeye to Florida.
And what's the name of your company?
It's Steve Navro.
Yep. Okay. And your customers, are they property managers? Are they independent landlords? Are they realtors? All of the above?
All of the above, yeah. I mainly work with property managers and real estate agents. I do know plenty of investors know that hire me from time to time to take pictures of their house too.
Yeah. And you do rentals and for sale listings, or?
Rentals, for sale listings. I also do events. Just pretty much anything that a business needs, I can do stuff.
If people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
You can go to stevenavro.com and there's information form on there, or you can email me at steve@stevenavro.com.
Perfect. Let's walk through the house together.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is quite an elaborate set of gear you have here, right? These are the tools of the trade that you use on a daily basis for your job. Can you walk us through each of these and what you use it for?
Yeah, absolutely. So my favorite camera for real estate photography is actually this Canon 5D. It's a Mark IV. It's a little bit older technology, but like every camera has its own unique look and feel. And I just think this is the best for real estate photography. For videography, I stick with Canon. I do the R5. It's this guy right here. And this is the Ronin S gimbal. It's a pretty good one. It's does more than I actually needed to. But I mean, this is a professional grade gimbal.
So that's for video?
That's for video, yeah. You don't need that for still, obviously. For still, actually, this is probably the most underrated piece of equipment there is. It's just a tripod.
How about the drone?
The drone, yeah. This is DJI. I think that they're definitely the leader in the industry for drones. This is the Mini 3 Pro. I guess I would call it an entry-level drone. It costs about $700 just for the drone. You got another $500 once you go to the actual handheld remote.
What's this big old fancy looking box?
So that is a Matterport 2 camera. It has 9 individual cameras in it. It's got a infrared signal that actually measures the house or whatever that you're shooting. It makes a 360-degree image at like 156 megapixels. It's a beast. Really great for being able to educate the viewer while they take a virtual tour, because you put little tags on whatever upgrades you have in your house or your business. And then this is a Ricoh device. It's 360 degrees. It's a little bit different. This is 360-degree photography. As opposed to this is actual 3D imagery, right? So you don't get the distance measuring out of Ricoh. However, the quality of the photo is still very good, and it's a fraction of the price.
I think every landlord's going to recognize this device. This is probably what they use when they're taking their marketing photos. So what is this setup?
Yeah, so this is, again, another tripod. This is really cool because you can bend the arms around if you wanted to. And you can do like your little selfies with it.
Yeah.
Put it on a bar or whatever you need. Obviously, this is an iPhone. This is the 15 Max Pro. Very good camera if you have the right settings. If you just use the out-of-the-box settings, you don't have the dynamic range that you're going to have in something like this. So you're going to get a lot of just glare, and it's just not. I wouldn't call it a feasible camera for real estate photography.
Steve, you mentioned an iPhone is a great tool to take great real estate photography, but it's key that you had the right settings. Walk us through what settings you would prefer.
Yeah, great. So the iPhone right out of the box, it's going to give you something like, I think it's 24 megapixels, which is a decent camera, but it doesn't have a dynamic range. So what you're really going to want to do is you're going to go into your settings, and then you're going to go under camera. And once under camera, it's going to give you everything you're going to need right here. You know, it starts with recording video, so you can choose 4K, 60 frames per second. It's for real estate video. That's what you want to be at. That way you can slow things down and still be under the, you know, in the 24 to 25 frames per second, which is what the human eye sees.
Yeah.
That's what your cinematic stuff is. All your movies. Yep. You can go down here. You can put grids on. A grid is literally just lines that show you the thirds of the image. Yeah. It's really important to understand like the rule of thirds. You can pick high efficiency. You can say, you can tell if you want to open it up in what photo mode. Then you can choose either HEIF max or Pro RAW 12 or Pro RAW max. All of these are different formats that are going to increase your dynamic range or decrease your dynamic range. It also increases the size of the image. Mm-hmm. So if you're shooting in like a RAW format, the image size can be really big, so you're not going to be texting it to your friends so much because it's going to take forever to do that. Yeah. But it will increase your dynamic range.
When you're in the app itself, taking the actual photos, do you have to mess with the settings while you're actually in here?
That's the good thing about the iPhone is like your auto settings are really good for auto settings. Yeah. No, it's not, they do have manual settings, but it's just not as in-depth as you're gonna get on a Sony or a Canon camera. Yeah. That those manual images, you have your f-stop, which is your aperture or the hole, allowing light in. You have your shutter speed, you have your ISO. On the iPhone, those are in play, but you just don't have the control over them. Yep. But you know, again, it's more of a, you know, I don't want to be insulting, but it's amateur versus professional. That's the difference. Is that the professional thought pattern says, okay, I want to understand what manual, what I want to be manual, what is okay to be automated.
Well, let's take some photos.
Yeah.
So as we're going to go through, take the photos of the house, talk to us about your methodology. Are you doing this in a specific order? Are you featuring certain parts of the home, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so you never know what the house is going to look like until everything's done in your home, looking at the images on the computer. So I do the same method every single time. First thing I do is I walk through the house, I turn on all the lights, open up all the window shades. I make sure that the house is in order. I want to also look at the house and see, what are the features, what does the kitchen look like, what's the primary bedroom look like, what's the primary bathroom look like. These are the things that really sell the house, right?
So then gathering your information first, like what do I want to feature as a part of this?
Exactly, and you don't have to spend a half hour doing it. Just 5 minutes of turning on the lights, making sure your fans are turned off, because they can take a still picture of a fan on and it looks weird.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a little makes that cracks and float around. So you want to make sure that the fans are off for still photos. For video, it's flying it out because now I have motion.
Sure.
I'm talking about that right now. So the first thing I do is I turn on everything, I make sure everything looks good, and then I walk back outside with my camera, set up my tripod, and I want to line everything up so it's squares. Squares or triangles, that's what I look for. And you don't want weird shapes. You want to make sure that your vertical and your horizontal lines are lined up. That's why you put the grids on the camera, and then you line those up with either at the center, like where the walls meet, or the corners of the walls, or if you're outside, with just the width of the house.
Okay.
It's like a good thing to do. And then maybe if you see the street, you have to get that far back, maybe look at the curve or some other horizontal line.
Okay.
So you want to take your time doing this. It took me hundreds of shots to realize hundreds of photos per house at first, just to really understand how to line everything up. So you have to understand that your first shots are going to be terrible. You're going to be taking pictures like this. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that the average person that's looking, it's women that tend to look online first, and then they bring their husbands in. So their height is on average, 5'6" to 5'8". So this is how I don't know how true that is like this, but so 5'6" to 5'8", that's the height that you want your camera at. Okay. So the way I do it with this tripod is I just lower my bottom ring here, a leg, and then I give myself a hand of space on the monitor, and that gives me about chest height for me. I'm 5'8", and that's a good place to start.
Okay, let's go talk through some of the specific rooms in the house then.
Great.
Steve, we're in the front yard of this house. What's the key to a great curb shot?
Yeah, so I take 3 to 5 photos of the front of the house. I start from corners and go to corner. Usually it's only 3 shots, the left corner, the center, and the right corner.
The lower part of the frame, is it the sidewalk here or is it where the grass starts? What do you like?
It's gonna be totally dependent on the footprint of the house,
Yeah.
right? So large single stories, you're gonna have to back up. You're probably gonna get some of the street.
Yep.
Even 2-story houses, the taller they are, further back you have to go,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes you're gonna have to sacrifice. I typically like to use the grass or the rock, whatever the features of the house are as that bottom line of the photo. But more often than not, you have to add some of the sidewalk, and then occasionally you have to get into the street.
Yeah.
And if you do get into the street, is it important to crop that out, or are you okay with leaving that in typically?
I typically leave it in because if I can crop it out, I will. But the problem with cropping is like when you put it online, a lot of the services, it actually changes what it looks like, and now you're again breaking the person's train of thought.
How much sky do you like in the photo?
Well, you want a tight shot of a house. That's what you're there for. You're not there for the sky, unless it's like some really beautiful time of day. If you're doing like a twilight shoot and the clouds are happening and the sun is going down and you got these beautiful purples and oranges, that's great, especially for out-of-towners. But if somebody lives here, they already know that we get these amazing skylight, that you want the house to be the main subject.
So kitchens are almost always the #1 selling feature in all. Talk to us about how you would go about decorating this kitchen.
Yeah, kitchens are really unique. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the corner of the kitchen that shows the most information, because that's what we're doing. We're conveying information, right? So in this kitchen here, I'm gonna start here in this corner, and I'm gonna actually cut this. And I do this with every room actually. But I'm gonna cut this kitchen in halves, starting from corner to corner. So even though this kitchen isn't quite a square, I'll think of it as a square, and I'll start that corner. I'll cut it right down the middle there, like a sandwich, right? So you have a triangle sandwich, and then that middle line is what I'm called the 180-degree line.
So if you show us that angle, then what does it look like? So if you take the first photo here, where's that 180-degree angle coming from the second shot?
Yeah, great. So for this kitchen, I would start here at this angle, and I take this picture, and then the next thing I would do is actually go directly across down the very edge of this 180-degree line, right?
Shoot back, yeah.
So now I'm gonna line this up, and I'm gonna take the corner, basically the corner of this wall, and that's gonna be my anchor point, so that I'm actually lining everything up. And then I'm gonna look at, the main entertainment of the picture, right, is actually your microwave and your stove. So I'm gonna try and get this in my field of vision, right? And then I'm gonna take that picture. From here, I would actually go over to the, this is great because there's no refrigerator here. If there's a refrigerator here, I'm gonna be placing this right in this area. And I'm gonna be, again, running right up against that 180-degree line, because you can use, if it's like a circle, right, and you cut the circle in half, you can use all the space in the circle. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Probably gonna take this picture. But my focus is to cut out the stove now, and really what I'm taking a picture of, your dishwasher, right? Dishwasher and sink.
So instead of trying to get everything in one shot, you really want to break it up into segments.
The last shot I'll do is actually going to be a straight on shot, just like this. That'll be the last shot.
Capturing
So
everything.
now I'm capturing everything.
We've got some good wide angle shots. Let's go take some photos, some tight areas.
Yeah, and so
All right, now we're at a bathroom. This is probably the hardest thing for a property manager to work in because it's a small bathroom. It's kind of dark. There's no natural light. So what's your strategy for getting great photos of a bathroom like this?
yeah. So again, instead of it's too small. You know, you're not going to need the 180-degree rule, right? But I still think of the lines through the room so that I can start to use it to understand my shapes. Okay. I get down with this on one knee, like you can. I'm gonna actually widen this out. This is gonna be about, between 24 millimeters and 16 millimeters, right? So you wanna find your anchor points. Now my anchor point is the door over here and the edge of the bathtub enclosure. And then you just press the button.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's a great photo of this tiny little bathroom.
Okay.
That's perfect.
So the thing you want to make sure is don't use your flash. You don't need to use your flash.
Yeah.
There's enough. It's ambient light. If you use the flash, now you're gonna get like a little white spot
Yeah.
bouncing back at you.
Yeah.
But usually what I end up doing for a bathroom this size is I'll take this angled photograph and then I come in here and I sit down on the shower and for me my head's gonna be in the reflection, so I gotta duck down a little bit. And then I'll take that photograph.
All right, Steve, we're in just a standard bedroom now with not many features. So what would you do in this situation to make this a marketable property?
Yeah, great. So the first thing we do is turn off the pin. Because again, it'll look real weird. The second thing I do, I go ahead and open up one side. It doesn't really matter which one, but I'll open up one side just because I want people to get more information. There's not a whole lot of information in this room other than the window, right?
Yeah.
Just start lining everything up. And I'm gonna stand here in the door frame. And just like in the bathroom, I'm gonna cut the room in half by corner to corner. And I'm gonna take this image right here. And now my frame of reference is, again, this wall. I just want a little bit. The main part of the shot is gonna be actually the closet. That's gonna be in my left third of my image.
Yeah.
And the door is in the middle. I try and line up the fan in the middle of the room in the picture, but it doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah. We're in the backyard now. What are the keys to getting great photos of a backyard?
Well, exterior shots are actually my favorite. They're a little easier, I guess, or I don't know. It's just I like nature, right? So you get an opportunity now to take a picture of whatever the nature is in the backyard. So the hardest part of it is going to be this enclosure, because you're casting shade, and then you're taking pictures of full light.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to sacrifice. If you stand in the corner here, this is gonna be darker because you can only expose for one or the other, and because there's an imbalance in darkness to light, that contrast, you're gonna get high contrast.
Yeah. So the rule of 180, how would that apply in this backyard?
So in this backyard, because everything is pretty well balanced, you've got trees on both corners, you got bushes in the middle. I don't think it matters where you start, and I would probably start over here in the corner because there's a little bit more information over here because you've got the side yard. And then I'd actually go to that corner as close to the corner as I can. Obviously, you don't want to get behind the tree, so I get right in front of the tree and take the one was this side. I'm probably gonna break that rule, and I'm gonna go to that corner.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take this way.
You would, yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's a rule, and rules are made to be broken, right?
Mm-hmm. Time of day, what do you recommend for best photos exterior-wise?
Yeah, so there's only 2 times a day that are really great for photography. That is crack of dawn and at the golden hour. The golden hours and blue hours. So if you want premium photographs, that's why you have dusk and dawn. Mm-hmm. You can do it in the middle of the day, but you have to understand that you're going to have blown out windows. Mm-hmm. No matter what you do, you're going to have blown out windows to some degree.